Omar Khan, you done it again, man. Oh, man. Draft day is underway, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have just made their draft pick for the first round. And I got to say, solid job. Solid pick right here, man. What's going on, everybody? I am Mac, and I am back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link in the box below. So, with the 20th overall in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Troy Fautanu, offensive lineman out of Washington State. And just want to say, first of all, if I'm pronouncing that name wrong, please correct me. Number one, I'm terrible with names. And number two, I've heard two different pronunciations of his name. I've heard Fautanu and I've heard Fautanu. Don't know which one's correct, but eventually I'll get it. So if I'm saying his name wrong, please correct me down. But yeah, regardless, he is a Pittsburgh Steeler. So what do I think about this pick? I like it. I really do. I like it. He wasn't my first choice. He wasn't who I had in mind overall. I didn't consider him in my mock drafts. And there's a couple of things that concern me a little bit, but overall, I like the pick. Because mainly offensive line is what we needed badly, and we needed it the most, predominantly center. And it's not like we neglected it. We took it. We took the best available lineman in the draft, or at least at that particular point in the draft, and we got him. So I can't be too mad at this at all. I like the pick. I think he's a talented young man. I think he's going to provide a lot of strength to this offensive line. And I think he has a real good ceiling in this league. I like his chances at flourishing with Arthur Smith's offense, and I like him evolving into a potentially really good center, even though he mainly plays offensive tackle, as I saw. Well, he was, as I mainly saw in his highlights, but let's break this down a little bit. I'll start off with what I do like about this pick. So, like I said, you can switch him to center when it's necessary, but mainly I think you're going to look at him more as like a guard almost for mainly the first time. So it may be that we switch Dan Moore Jr. on over to center for the time being, but overall, I think it's not too much to worry about right here. Versatility is what Mike Tomlin looks for a lot in his players, and I think Troy really does fit the bill real well right there. He's got great athleticism to him as well, even though, yes, it kind of bleeds into one of my concerns about him is that, yeah, I know he was the smallest offensive lineman in the draft. He's only 6'3", which is pretty small for a lineman. But if you look at his highlights, he's got real good athleticism. His pass blocking is especially great, which is something that we really need badly on over here if we're going to keep Russell Wilson or Justin Fields not dying on the field, all right? But yeah, definitely you're getting a guy who's real athletic. He's a great pass blocker. Could do a little bit better with the run blocking, but I think that has to do more with scheming. And with Arthur Smith, we're going to see him be moved around horizontally. And I think he's a guy that really can be moved in that sort of way. And the biggest thing that I like about this guy, because he's a great pass blocker, I read a stat. I don't know if it's totally accurate, but I heard a stat that he only allowed 2 sacks in 1,300 snaps. 2 sacks allowed. And this is an offensive line that has really allowed a ton of sacks over the past couple of seasons. And we're getting a guy who only allowed 2 sacks in over 1,000 snaps. That's incredible right there. That's something that I love to see. You're getting a guy who protects our quarterback well, a guy who's got really great length. He can handle well. He pulls well at the tackle position. I'm on board with this man. Now, like I said, his size is a little concerning because he's the smallest offensive lineman in the draft. And he did fall a little bit lower because he did have some knee issues. So, are we potentially getting a guy who's going to have knee issues here and there and he's going to miss some playing time because his knee keeps nagging him? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know the full case of that. But if those are really the only two concerns that I have with him, then I think that's a W in my opinion. Now, like I said, Troy Fautanu wasn't my first choice. If you guys tuned into my mock drafts, you've seen me say that I wanted Jackson Powers Johnson. But if we didn't take Jackson Powers Johnson, there's a good reason for that. I heard that he's been having concussion problems, and I think that dropped his value a little bit. And yeah, if he's still there and he's still available, and this guy's being held to a higher standard than him, available at 20, then definitely go for it, man. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, was Fontenot my first pick? Was he my first choice? No. But the Pittsburgh Steelers got what they needed most in this first round, which was offensive line. And I know a lot of people are going like, "Oh, we need defensive backs. Oh, we need wide receivers. Oh, we need this, we need that." Did you guys just forget that this is just the first round of the draft? Did you really just forget that? Tomorrow, I can assure you tomorrow we're walking away with a corner and a wide receiver tomorrow. I can assure you. Okay? If not tomorrow, Saturday. I can assure you we're going to get that defensive back. We're going to get a wide receiver at some point. I know it. All my years of watching this franchise draft, I just know it. But in the first round, you go for who's best available. You also go for what you need most. And this kid was available at 20. He was the best on the board. And we got a guy who can play a lot of positions on this offensive line. And like I said, I know he's a little bit small, but hey, that's what everyone said about James Harrison. I know it's two completely different positions and different sides of the ball, but hey, James Harrison turned out to be just fine, didn't he? Like I said, if his size is the biggest concern that people have, I think that's a solid W because he makes up for it because he can move outside protection well. He's got great footwork. He's strong, and he's a real good athletic blocker that I think is going to benefit this offensive line real well. So, yeah, Troy Fautanu, he's a Pittsburgh Steeler, man. I'm on board with this pick. I have to give this probably an A minus in my opinion. Really good pick right here. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I am Mac checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.